1905, London, Great Britain. The House of Commons enacted the Aliens Act, the first legislation aimed at controlling immigration, ostensibly designed to manage the influx of undesirable individuals. This law disproportionately targeted Eastern European Jews feeling pogroms and persecution in the Russian Empire. Over a century later, we witness similar narratives. Recent policies by President Donald Trump have introduced measures that echo the exclusionary practices of the past. Facing violent pogroms and systemic discrimination, over 2 million Jewish people fled the Russian Empire between 1880 and 1914 in what became known as the Great Jewish Migration due to anti-Semitic policies including bans for settling in regions like the Pale of Settlements and propaganda. Estimated figures from the time say that between 120,000 and 150,000 Jewish people arrived in Britain during the period. However, the Aliens Act of 1905 imposed strict entry requirements purposefully targeted at Jewish people and immigrants from British India. While Indians were able to reside in their country and were mostly fleeing poverty, Jewish people felt the brunt of it as they did not have a country to return to.
Making nearly
Now,
50
let's come
arrests.
back home
And
to
the Washington Post tonight, citing 4
USA.
people with knowledge of the
Today's
ICE briefings,
citizens
reports
of
quotas
countries
have been
including
set of at
Somalia,
least 1,200 to
Afghanistan, and
1,500
Myanmar
arrests per
living in
day
the United States are
nationwide.
being
Is that
deported.
what you're hoping for?
President Trump's
Look, we want to get as many
borders
criminals as
are
possible.
removed
So
while aimed at
there's no
migrants
number
and
on
undocumented
it.
Tom
criminals
Homan is
are
Trump's
impacting
border czar. He's in
refugees
Chicago
who,
tonight, overseeing a
20th
major
century
enforcement
Jewish people,
operation, even as the
simply do not have a
deportations
home
spark
to go to.
international backlash.
Both the 1905 Aliens Act in the United Kingdom and current immigration policies in the United States have been justified by economic concerns and national security. Yet, beneath these justifications lies a recurring theme: the stigmatization and exclusion of vulnerable populations. Some populations affected by such policies do have homes to return to, such as the Indians from the United Kingdom. However, Jewish people did not, even as many Jewish people were able to resettle in countries including France and Netherlands. Years later, they became victims to the Holocaust, something which would have been avoided had they been given access to Britain. Similarly, certain refugees leaving the United States today would receive death or other punishments upon returning to their countries that are no longer their homes. America has been built on the back of refugees. My story deals with my grandmother who fled Pakistan during the partition of India, eventually finding a new home in the United States. Despite causing instability in parts of the world, the US has been there for vulnerable populations. Instead of learning from the UK's mistakes, we are repeating history. We are not supporting refugees who are harmlessly sitting in the country. While migrants and others affected by these policies do have homes to return to, refugees feel the worst out of these policies as they are being stripped of the communities that they have been created, only to face death, persecution, or other dire consequences simply for existing in their countries that their passports say they are from. When I see the plight of refugees in this country, I feel anger and sadness. We Americans must learn from history. I am working with organizations to support refugee rights and keep them safely in the US. Join me as we support refugees to create sustainable change and to support them in our new shared homes. Let's learn from the mistakes of the Alien Act of 1905 and the exclusion of Jewish people and Jewish refugees that it created. Let's not hurt refugees. Let's remember that people are people first, and their legal status does not define them.